So this one is for all of you business owners and for you salespeople who are out there. Productivity through purpose message. The question that I have, or that I had rather, is what if you could maintain a constant residence in the minds of your ideal prospect? What if you could? Now, that goes into marketing and to a lot of the psychology of what's going on there, but I'm going to bypass, I think, maybe a lot of the school of thought and go a different direction. Maya Angelou was famous for saying that people might forget what you did for them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And it makes me think, we have a grandchild that's over at our house. Yeah, I know. Can't believe this goodness right here is actually an old man. I'm 48 years old, have a grandchild that's often, actually I have two, but I have one that's often over at our house. And it's interesting to watch what's going on in his mind. Now, we have 8 children, so I've seen this happen like lots before, but it's just really occurring to me. He's not so good at speaking, not so good at language yet. He's a little bit older than a year, but he's super attached, super connected. Especially there are several of us, all of the boys, myself. Like there's so many people that pick him up and move him around and do all kinds of things. But the thing that I got to thinking was like, why does he prefer me? I'm one of his favorites. I'm in the top 3 at the very least. So I think it goes Sava, which is his mom, Cole, which is he's just such a caring, giving, loving son of mine, like just an amazing uncle to Rue, and then myself. And I know that I'm preferred. And I look at like, man, how did that happen? How did I get there? And my iPhone reminded me, right? This I get all of these memories that flash up and show, hey, here you are with the baby and through this time. And it's like, I'm holding this guy, this little guy, before he knew which way was up or down, before he knew what day or night was, carrying him and taking him around and singing to him and playing with him and making him laugh and making him smile and doing all of these things. And the interesting thing is the realization that things are happening before the formation of language. So a connection, I'm making a connection with this kid. He doesn't understand my words, but he understands the intention that I'm bringing, and that connects him with me. As a matter of fact, we went away for a month. We just took a 32-day road trip away from my grandchild. It was so hard. But here, when we come back, immediately, he's with me. He recognizes, it's like we're back right in the same lane where we were at before. So how did that happen? And what does that even mean, when it comes to how we can impact other people? I really believe that's revelatory, or at least it exposes the truth behind if we really want to connect, if we really want to move, if we really want to influence others. I think it actually happens. It happens like this. It happens like me with Rue. It happens on a level that's different than language. It's connected to language, but different. And so really, as we go through, I often do exercises with clients that are, hey, let's talk about your ideal client. Who is your heck yes person? Or if they're recruiting and growing a team, who is your heck yes recruit? Who is it that you would say yes to 10 times out of 10? Who are the people that you absolutely love? And it's not hard to figure out who that might be, when we look back at our favorites to work with. When I was a teacher, truthfully, I did have some favorite students, and it was just easy to teach those kids. When I was selling and still do, it's just there are certain clients, certain people you bring in that it's like, wow, it's just so easy to get along with them. I wish I had more of them. As a coach, I actually, a few years ago, I designed my practice, my business, so that I only work with people that excite me, like that I wake up every morning excited for the people I get to talk to that day. And that's not a permission that I think that most people give to themselves. So anyway, I work through this with clients. I help them to find their ideal so they can build a business that they want to wake up every morning and kiss in the face. I say kiss in the mouth, actually. But how do we do that? My question actually was maybe as a stroke of genius, or maybe it was happening in the midst of this reflection. My question was like, what if, well, first off, when we connect to our ideal people, opportunity is not always there. It's not always the right time. They may be the right people, you might be the right people, but the time, it just might be off. That's actually the case. It's going to be the case 90% of the time. If you're dealing with A+ people, they're usually not always ready for an opportunity to speak with, connect with, do business with you, right? But the question is how can we create a space so that when that happens, they think of you? How can we do what I've done with my grandson? How can we connect? And I believe that actually the revelation that should come from that is like it's beyond language. And so my question has now become to a lot of people that I work with is, how do you want your ideal people to feel after you have left? How do you want them to feel when you were there? What is the thing that you're wanting to deposit? What gift do you want to bring to those people that you love? What gift? I really love to give physical gifts. That's great. But there's something that's left over after the words are gone, after whatever it is that you've done, and it's the emotion. And the emotion is really what I would say is first language. So before we ever learn to speak or understand English or Spanish or whatever language it is that you grow up in, we understand the language of emotion. We understand the language of emotion. And so now we're getting into it. What if you knew how you wanted your people to feel? What if you could make them feel that way? As a matter of fact, every time they thought of you, they felt that way. And so I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. You can simply Google emotion chart and you can find emotions. And it goes through, the kind of the negative ones. So there's like 10 varieties of angry. There's another 10 varieties of anxious. There's another 10 varieties of sad. And then we have like these 3 positive sides. And these are confident, happy, and content. So underneath confident, I want you to listen to some of these words as I just read them off to you. So brave, powerful, inspired, curious, strong, creative, important, energy, hopeful. Now, as I just now read through those categories of confident, 1 or 2 of those words should have jumped out at you. It's like, oh my gosh, I really want my people to feel inspired. Or I want them to feel like they're creative, like they can go and they can create, right? So that's confident. The next category here, I'm going to read some from happy. Here we go. Ready? Joyful, love, optimistic, energetic, valued, cheerful, connected, excited, interested. I'm going to go now to the next column for content. Calm, secure, safe, discerning, balanced, reflective, grateful, trusting, relaxed. What if, I'm going to pull from a couple of these, what if you could choose a couple of these places so that it was your emotional address with the people that you wanted to register with? So rather than showing up and blah, 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 being someone who was a person of words or someone who was associated with a company or with a product or something else, what if instead you were associated with the emotion? So these emotions, what if when people are around you, they always left inspired or they always left connected, they felt connected? How cool would that be if you always made people feel inspired and connected? Or in other cases, right, depending, maybe you like to help people to feel secure and discerning, or maybe valued and powerful, right? The idea is we can maybe paint and move into all of these quadrants, but the question is can we pick a couple and say, this is where I want to live? And so if I read through some of those, like my goal would be is maybe you rewind this and go pick a couple. And from the couple that you pick, now my question is this: what can you do to deposit that every time? Every time you show up in front of this type of person, how can you make them feel these 2 or 3 things? Now, sometimes that actually means that maybe you're providing information. If you want them to feel secure or reflective, maybe that has to do with you teaching them new information. I'm doing that here right now with you. Whatever it is, there's something that you should do. But even more important than what you do is how you feel. So right now, as you hear me talking, my voice is inflecting. There's something that I'm trying to convey to you. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel energy and excitement around this, so you can hear that in my voice. And so my point is that whatever you want people to feel, you've got to feel it first. You see, we are set up as almost like mirrors. My grandson responds to joy because I bring joy. So whenever I go home, by the way, all of these feelings that are here, I just want to bring fun and joy. So I want my sons and daughters to feel. Usually, those are the places I want to register. So be intentional. Be intentional in your social media, in your phone calls, in your outreach, in all of those things. And when we do, what's going to happen is it's almost like we're singing a song that they've been listening for. And not only are we singing a song they've been listening for, they recognize that when they hear that tune, they think of you. How cool is that? One final example, and then I'm just going to leave you to do the work. Working with a guy who is super cool. He is recruiting people who are playing. So he's growing an organization through recruiting. He wants to bring on people who are in collegiate sports that aren't going to make it into the professional arena. And a couple of the places that we realized that he wants to register, he picked a few of these. One of Energy, I think, Valued. There was a couple of others in there, but really he wanted them to feel like he was coaching them. He wanted to inspire them so that after the voice of their coach was no longer there in their life, they would be able to say, man, I want to coach. I really miss having this in my life. His voice would be that constant that over the course of the last 9 months or 10 months or 2 years, he's been purposely encouraging, inspiring, giving energy to the people who are in his sphere. So he knows where he wants to register, and the people that he's trying to reach value where he's trying to register. So that's my challenge to you. Maybe ask yourself, look up an emotion chart. And by the way, I did skip past the negatives. Those are actual great places. We need those, I think, to help people to make decisions. You don't want to stay there. You don't want to be identified with worry or anger or annoyance or hopelessness, right? Those are the things that we are trying to pull people from, and we do that by showing up in our registry. So I don't know if you are someone who is interested in figuring out your emotional address, the space where you want to live. That's something that I help people to do. I do it through a variety of coaching methods. We have habits coaching, which is kind of fun. It's a daily interaction where we direct your daily behavior and bring habits to you within 30 to 60 days. So you have a new habit. With a very few people, I'll do one-on-one coaching, and I also have just a ton of other people I refer out to. But if you're interested in doing this, then please go to DonnieTuttle.com and let's at least get you into the Purpose Quest, which is going to help connect you with your identity and your vision so that you can take inspired action. So anyway, just some thoughts. I hope this helps you. Feel free to like, comment, share, whatever. And if you want to challenge me and call BS on this, I'm okay with that too. Let's have a discussion. For the rest of us, let's go. Let's be intentional about where our emotional address is with our ideal people. So over and out. We'll talk soon. See you on the journey.